Hey, this is Dino, and today I want to show you the use of the response cache policy in Apigee that allows you to cache content from upstream systems. So here I've got a basic pass-through API proxy. It doesn't do much. It passes through the request that it receives to an upstream target system. In this case, that upstream target system retrieves latitude and longitude information based on a zip code query parameter. So the API proxy doesn't do much other than that, but let's just see that working now. So I'll start a debug session, and then I'll flip to my command line and run a few curl commands to invoke that API proxy. So the first zip code we're going to pass in is 01801, and then we'll do 98021. So those are going to be different ends of the country, and you can see I've got different results from each of those. For the 01801, we get 42 and minus 71, and here we get 47 and minus 122. That's all as expected. In the trace, you can see in both cases, Apigee is propagating that transaction all the way to the end service. And is getting the result and then relaying that result back to the client. And if I invoke the same, using the same query parameters again, you can see Apigee will relay those transactions all the way to the upstream system again. So no caching done at the Apigee layer by default. So let's see what happens if we enable the response cache on that API proxy. So we have to attach it in two places. One is in the request preflow, and you can see I've got this policy set up already, the cache response policy. I'm enabling it in the request preflow on the proxy endpoint, and also in the target post flow in the response. So target endpoint response post flow, proxy endpoint request preflow. And what does that response cache policy look like? It looks like this. I am caching by request URI. So that includes the entire path and any query parameters. And the way to find out about that is just go to the flow variables reference. This is a page that I use all the time just to make sure I'm on the right track. And I can look this up. It says request URI, and it describes, for something like this, then the request URI includes the path and the query parameter. So that's how you configure the cache response cache policy. Now let me save that as a new revision, and we will deploy that new revision to the environment. Okay, after it's deployed, I'll flip over to the Debug tab and start a new debug session. And now what I want to do is invoke it the same way that I was invoking it before. Let's see if the cache has any effect. So I'll invoke it with 01801. And maybe we'll try 98021. And then we'll try both of them again. Now we can see the results are coming back. They look good. They look consistent with what we received before. And we can look now into the debug session and see that, again, here for the zip code 01801, we can see that transaction goes all the way end to end, and does pass through to the upstream system. The upstream system gets invoked, and we get a result back. Likewise for the transaction for 98021. But then the subsequent transaction for 01801 uses the cache. And you can see here in the trace that Apigee is not invoking the upstream system. Rather, it's responding directly from the response cache. And likewise for the subsequent 98021 request. And you can also see those requests that get satisfied from cache take much less time than a request that is being satisfied by invoking the upstream system. So that's the key to response cache. Attach it to the preflow request, also attach it in the proxy endpoint. Also in the target endpoint, attach it to the post-flow response. Use an appropriate key fragment. Make sure you're setting the scope appropriately. You can see the documentation on ResponseCache to understand the differences there. And also set the timeout to be something appropriate for your use cases. And that should be it. It's pretty simple to use, really handy when you want to cache upstream systems. Hope this has been helpful. Till next time, take care.